There is one word New Zealand politicians reach for every year. Almost everybody hears it wrong. Surplus. It sounds like a jar on a shelf. Money went in, money came out, and something was left over. That picture is comforting. It is not what the word means here. A New Zealand government surplus is not cash sitting anywhere. It is the result of an accounting rule, and the rule can be adjusted by the people being measured. That sounds like an accusation. It is not. It is the design. The reason it is safe enough to live with is a law we wrote first. Start with the accounting. It takes about a minute. Your household counts money the moment it moves. Wages arrive, rent leaves, and the balance is whatever the bank says tonight. That is cash accounting. No large organization runs on it alone. Governments here use accrual accounting instead. Under accrual, you record a cost when you incur it, not when you pay it. Suppose the Crown promises a pension due in 30 years. The obligation appears in the books now. If a hospital building loses value this year, that loss counts too. No money moved. It still counts. New Zealand was the first country in the world to run its government this way. That came with the Public Finance Act of 1989. Other countries have been copying it ever since, so the government books look more like a company's than a household's. Now the headline number. The measure you hear at budget time has a short, ugly name, OBEGAL. It stands for the operating balance before gains and losses. Total revenue minus total expenses. That is nearly all there is to it. The gains and losses part matters though. The Crown owns enormous investment funds. Their value rises and falls with world markets every day. Include those swings, and a good year on the share market flatters a government. A bad year hands it a deficit it could not have prevented, so the headline measure strips the swings out. What remains is closer to the real cost of governing. That is a sensible idea. Now watch what can be done with it. Take one more thing out of the measure, and the number moves again. In 2025, the headline measure was redefined. It now excludes the accident compensation scheme. The reason given was the scheme's very long cycle of levies and claims. Its accounting swings, the argument went, drown out everything else. Reasonable people disagree about that. Energetically. But notice what the change demonstrates. A surplus is not a fact of nature waiting to be discovered. It is a reading from a chosen instrument, and the instrument has adjustable settings, which is why a small country at the bottom of the Pacific did something clever. In 1994, New Zealand passed the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It was the first law of its kind anywhere. It now sits inside the Public Finance Act. Read it expecting limits on borrowing, and you will be disappointed. It contains no debt limit. It sets no required surplus. It forbids almost nothing. What it does is force a government to say things out loud. Publish your long-term objectives. Publish your short-term intentions. Publish the numbers behind both. Depart from what you said and explain the departure in public, in a document with your name on it. The theory is unusual and rather elegant. Writing a number into law does not stop bad choices. A future parliament can always rewrite that number. You stop them instead by making the choice visible and expensive to defend. The law does not fix the ruler. It insists that you show which ruler you are holding. That structure gives New Zealand budget arguments their particular flavour. 2026 was an election year. The National Party campaigned on 3 budget rules. Return to surplus in the 2028-2029 year. Bring net core Crown debt below 40% of the economy. Push government spending down towards 30% of it. Labour rejected the framing. Its finance spokesperson pointed to business failures. The same reply pointed to families choosing between food and fuel. You can decide for yourself who had the better case. The structural point survives whoever wins. Both sides were arguing inside a published set of targets. Both used forecasts from the same treasury. Both had to name the measures they were using. That is not how it works everywhere. In many countries, the fight is over whose figures are real. If you enjoy the machinery underneath the news, subscribe and stay a while. This country is full of it, and most of it is invisible. One last piece. It is the one that makes the rest usable. 2 of those 3 targets were ratios: debt as a share of the economy, spending as a share of the economy. A ratio has a top and a bottom. Either can move. Debt below 40% can be reached by borrowing less. It can also be reached by an economy that grows faster. Spending near 30% can be reached by cutting programs, or by a larger economy making the same programs look smaller. 2 governments can hit the identical target while doing opposite things, so when you next hear a fiscal promise, do not reach for agreement or suspicion. Ask which number is expected to move, the top or the bottom. And if you keep one fact from all of this, keep this one. The law that made New Zealand famous for fiscal discipline requires no surplus at all. It only requires a government to say beforehand what it is aiming at, and afterwards why it missed.